everyone, welcome to Mindvalley's masterclass on how to become stress-proof. Now, I don't know how you found this class. Maybe you referred to it by a friend, maybe you stumbled upon it on Google or Facebook, but I know why you're here. If you've come to this class, then odds are that at some part of your life you're experiencing stress and you were wise enough to pay attention and realize that this is suboptimal. In other words, this stress is not normal and could be affecting you daily. Well, you're in the right place because in this class, you're going to learn how to become stress-proof from the man who is perhaps the world's leading hypnotherapist, working with high performers all around the world to help them become immune to stress, anxiety, fears, and thus to help them increase their overall health, improve their moods, become more resilient at work, and get more done in less time while being more joyous, blissful, and in flow. Now, I relate to you if you came here because you were looking to overcome stress. And before we begin, I just want to share this with you. These are some recent data on how stress actually affects companies, affects workspaces. So if you're a manager, if you're running a team, if you have a job you deeply care about, but you know it can stress you out sometimes, this is what you need to know. In 2019, 94% of American workers reported experiencing stress. Only 6% of workers report being immune to stress. You're going to learn the tools to get to that 6%. The World Health Organization has dubbed stress, get this, health epidemic of the 21st century. It costs American business up to $300 billion a year. And so stress and anxiety are increasingly becoming the two of the biggest threats to workplace productivity in the world. In 2010, I went through one of the most stressful periods of my life. I remember showing up to work one day and my coworkers turned to me and said, "Vishen, what is wrong with your face?" I had started breaking out in lumps all over my face, all over my body. What had happened was I was going through such a stressful period in my life because at that point, me and my then business partner were going through a split. We were not agreeing in terms of how to move our company forward, and that disagreement was causing stress for both of us. Now, this stress resulted in me developing migraine headaches. I couldn't understand why I was not sleeping, why I was putting on weight, why I was unable to focus at work, and I ended up at a hospital. And the doctors there, they couldn't understand what was causing my headaches, so they decided to inject me with a chemical and run a scan of my body to see if the blood flow to my brain was normal or if there's some abnormality. Now, the funny thing about stress is that when you're going through stress, it seems that multiple parts of your life break down simultaneously. Stress is almost like reverse manifesting. It causes damage to happen in your life. And what happened to me is that it turned out my body had an allergic reaction to this chemical they had put in my body to study my blood flow to my brain. I started breaking out in lumps. And so what was a migraine, what was a stressful situation, got even worse. And that lasted 7 days. But you see, I'm glad it happened because that was a wake-up call. I realized that I was overstressed and that this stress was seriously affecting my health. I made a promise to myself that day that every time I detected these instances of stress, I would not accept them as normal. I would not make an excuse. I would take some action to alleviate that stress, to get myself whole and healthy again, to get myself back in flow, because I did not want to break myself. And I could see that stress was destroying me. And as I took the right action steps, as I changed aspects of my life, as I parted ways with people and situations that were causing me stress, and as I learned to make myself stress-proof, what I found is that every aspect of my life began to thrive. 10 years later, people say that I look younger every year. My relationships are glowing. I love what I do. And in all my health markers, I'm operating higher than I did 10 years ago. Because I've become aware of just how damaging stress is, and I've learned to deal with stress through some of the best minds out there. such as Paul McKenna, whom you're going to be learning from in this masterclass. So I want you to know that if you've experienced the ridiculously absurd, damaging effects of stress, I know how you feel. And in this class, you're going to take a massive step forward to become immune to stress. By some estimates, 50% of doctor visits are due to stress. You are going to see all your health markers go up when you learn to cope with this stress. And many world-class performers say that stress actually reduces their performance at work in terms of idea generation, in terms of productivity, in terms of how they deal with workmates. You're going to learn to show up better at work, to get more done in less time, to shift your emotional moods. I cannot express to you how this one thing, stress, when you pluck it out of your life, you see all these aspects of your life elevate. But you're going to learn how to make that happen in the next 1 hour. So congratulations for taking the time to be here. We're going to give you our best. Paul McKenna is one of the world experts at this. And in return, I'm going to ask that you give us your best, which means have a pencil and a notepad or a journal ready. Pay attention, take part in the exercises, and take action. Do not be a dabbler. I don't want you watching this passively. Turn off your email, put away Instagram, go deep, because what you learn here today in the next 1 hour will shift your life for the rest of your life. Do we have this agreement? Great. Now, so let's talk about what you're going to learn in this masterclass. Not only are you going to learn how to reduce stress and overwhelm, you're going to learn how to reduce fear and anxiety. The third, you're going to learn how to develop greater positivity. What this really means is higher value emotional states, happiness, joy, bliss. When you reduce stress, these states go up. Fourth, you're going to learn how to improve your health. You see, stress destroys so many aspects of your health. When you reduce stress, overall health and well-being go up. Fifth, this is a fun one, you're going to end up sleeping better. When you remove stress, your sleep gets better. And this creates a positive reinforcement title. The more sleep you get, the higher your emotional states and the more stress resilient you become the very next day. And finally, you're going to learn how to develop grit or resilience. If you've been reading business literature, you know that grit, the ability to go through the road bumps of life without it taking you down or tearing you apart, is one of the top qualities you can cultivate in yourself to be a top performer at work. You're going to learn how to get there. Now, all of these things are interrelated. And before we get started, I'm going to ask you to do an honest self-examination. So this is the time where you're going to take out your pen, open up your journal or your notepad, and you're going to answer the following 5 questions. So I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 means absolutely excellent, like you can get on stage and lecture on that topic. 1 means you're really aching there. Okay, so the first question is this: how stressed are you at your work life? Give yourself an honest assessment from 1 to 10. Ready? Second question is, how stressed are you at home? Again, we have stress at home as well. It might be family pressure. It might be inability to deal with kids and certain situations with your spouse, but home can create stress as well. The third one is, how are your moods? And here we are talking about sense of humor, irritability. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Fourth, what's your overall health? Here we're talking about body tension, sickness, depression. And the final question is, how happy are you? This is a tough one. Be honest. How happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I want you to pay attention to these scores. These are only for you. Now, I want you to ask yourself, where do you want to be? Look at question number 1. How stressed is your work life? Ideally, where would you want to be? An 8, a 9, a 10? How stressed is your personal life? Where would you want to be? And what would that picture look like for work or your personal life? Briefly, imagine yourself. Next, your moods. Again, what would your moods look like if you were at a 9 or a 10? What would your overall health look like if you were at a 9 or a 10? And what would your happiness look like if you were at a 9 or a 10? What you're doing here is setting an intention. You're giving your mind a compass of where you want to be. This is the first step. So congratulations on taking part in that exercise. I know some of these questions are not often easy, but by giving your mind that compass, by establishing where you want to be, you're more likely to get there. So now, let's talk about our author for today. Firstly, Paul McKenna is an international best-selling author whose books have sold more than 10 million copies and been translated into 32 languages. He spent the last 35 years working as a hypnotherapist and has become the #1 hypnotherapist in the world, noted for helping people treat the most difficult problems. He's been described as a cross between Dr. Phil and Tony Robbins, but British, so he has that sexy accent. Paul was named by the Times of London as one of the world's leading and most important modern gurus alongside Nelson Mandela and the Dalai Lama. He has become one of the most successful non-fiction authors of his generation, selling 8,000 books a week in 35 countries, a total of 12 million books over the past decade. Paul, welcome to Mindvalley.
Great to be here.
I've been following your work for so long, for so many years. I've heard so many amazing things about you. So I'm so delighted to have you on set. And before we get started, I'm sure a lot of people here would love to know, how did you become the Paul McKenna, the hypnotherapist?
Well, I was working as a radio broadcaster, and I was interested in yoga and meditation, but I'd had a particularly bad day. I'd broken up with my girlfriend, the people in the apartment where I was living were keeping me up late, and I had a row with my boss at the radio station. I had to go off to interview the local hypnotist. And so I arrive at this guy's house, and I'm asking him questions. He said, no, look, I need to do it to you because you look very stressed. And I said, benevolently, skeptically, knock yourself out. Anyway, a few minutes later, I felt so relaxed. It was as though the burdens I was carrying had lifted and my mind cleared, and I felt really optimistic and quite joyful. And so when I came out of this trance, which I thought had only been a few minutes, it had been about half an hour, I felt so rested, re-energized and brilliant. I said, have you got any books on this? And he lent me a book by Richard Bandler, who was later to become my most prolific teacher. And because I'm a fairly compulsive person, I went and read it and I started hypnotizing my friends to lose weight, to quit smoking. And of course, I'd be at a party and people would say, I don't believe in that. And so I'd hypnotize them. And
at a party?
Yeah, I'd be at a party and I'd have them up dancing like a ballerina and we would all fall about laughing. And of course, I don't do that sort of thing anymore. But for a long time, that's how I did shows where I would get people to do daft things. And I had a big hit TV show around the world where I did it for entertainment. Then I decided, that was fun. That was of its time back in the 90s. And I began to more and more help people to change their lives for the better. And I wrote then best-selling books, and I do motivational events. And basically that's what my life is I get to travel the world and make people feel good.
But it's funny, it started because you had an extremely stressed out day.
Yes.
So I want you who's watching to ask yourself, what was that stress trigger that made you show up? And maybe this is the reason why you're here. Maybe like me, like Paul, that stressed out day that you had is going to lead to something absolutely amazing. So Paul, why is stress such a burden on society and on people?
Well, it's because most people are so stressed, and they don't realize they are. They're actually addicted to it because it is it's part of modern life. So there are all kinds of things that we have to do, challenges. For example, get somewhere on time. Give something like a presentation, deal with family matters. Then there's sleep disruption, which affects our mood and our game. And instead of people stopping and taking stock and going, really I need to do something about this, they push on even harder. I know that I was one of these people. I thought, I've got to get ahead. And I would treat life like a marathon and just burn out. And then I'd actually spend more time catching up with the time that I was out. And so, I actually changed my routine. I went over to treating it like a series of sprints and building in recovery time. Right now, the world is largely stressed out. Fear-based aggression. Every time you open a newspaper or turn on the TV, you find out that we're under attack. People are being encouraged and pushed to work even harder. In Japan, they actually have a word for working yourself to death, karoshi. And the other thing is that people who are stressed think that they need their stress to have their edge.
And this is the first big lie of stress. It's the idea that reducing stress means losing your edge.
Yes, I used to think that too. I thought, no, I haven't got time to look after my well-being, which is a false economy. And so I would think, if I'm too relaxed about things, I actually need my stress. Now, there is some truth in that, because years ago when I was a stage performer, I used to like to walk out and give a dynamic performance. And I had a visit from a friend of mine who's a masseuse, and she said, before you go on the stage, let me relax you. Right. And I felt so relaxed, felt wonderful. And then when it was time to walk out on the stage, instead of saying, hello and welcome to the show, I walked out and I went, hello, welcome to the show. I was just too mellow. So the problem is that people who are stressed, they're usually trying their best to control everything, trying their best to juggle several plates, to be a good mother, father, a good employee or a good boss or whatever it is. And they don't stop to actually check in and check how stressed they are. And of course, they delude themselves with the idea that they haven't got time to invest in themselves, and if they just keep on going, it'll be okay. And of course, there comes a tipping point where things are not okay. And so, unfortunately, it usually shows up around a breakdown of a relationship, maybe the loss of a job, or actually a physical illness. That's when people go, oh, I'm really stressed and I need to do something about it. That's the sort of the remedial side of stress. But actually, the positive side is, because if everyone took some time to reduce their stress, not only would they be in better health, but actually the big lies you mentioned is that people think, I need my stress to get everything done. Actually, yes, you need some, but the more you take time to relax and control your stress, the more bandwidth you've got for creativity, for problem solving, for actually your productivity to go up. There are corporations where people are assigned 20 minutes in the morning to meditate, clear their mind, get in an optimal state. And of course, not only are they healthier, their productivity goes up.
Right. And there's so many studies on this that show that when you give yourself, or when companies give people an opportunity to relax, this could be sleeping pods, this could be a meditation class, productivity goes up. Now, what I remember reading is that scientists can measure stress as an increase in beta brainwave frequency, right? It's when your brain frequency is beating really fast, beta, which is 14 to 21 cycles per second. But studies have shown that when you do the opposite of that, when you slow down your brainwave frequency to what is called alpha, which is 7 to 14 cycles per second, what happens is there's a burst in creativity. There is a burst in inspiration. There you get into states of flow. So people who are addicted to stress, which could be you, may think that you want to be at that rapid frequency. But actually, studies show that if you can slow it down, this is the space where ideas flow. This is the space where innovation emerges. It's that ability to move to these states. And if you slow it down even further, which is often what happens when you meditate, that's the theta level frequency, 4 to 7 cycles per second, that can have healing and a healing impact on your body. So what we're doing when you are reducing stress is you are slowing down your brainwave frequency to healthier levels of alpha and theta. Now, when I first started doing this, Paul, because I didn't have access to tools like what you use, I was actually working with a neurofeedback specialist. I had to do exercises every 3 to 4 days where I had to strap myself to machines that monitored my brain waves, and I could see on a screen how my brain waves were being affected. This was when I was going through an extremely stressful part of my life, right? But now we know that the right techniques, such as hypnotherapy, can do that in a much faster, much more affordable way.
And also, when you talk about the brainwave session, when people are in the deepest type of sleep, stage 3, they go into delta. And one of the techniques I'm hoping we can do in this masterclass will help people to sample a few minutes of delta. So that's the deepest rest you can possibly have.
So you're going to show us a technique to help us get into this deep state of rest.
Yes.
While we're watching this masterclass.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yes.
Don't be watching this while you're driving or operating chainsaws or heavy machinery. Okay, so ideally you're watching this class going forward at this portion in the comfort of a safe space in your room or your office. So the first myth of stress is that if you reduce stress, you lose your edge. So we have discarded that. Let's go on to the second myth, which is continuous grind makes you resilient, or that hard work is the path to success.
This is very much a mindset in corporations that people wear their stress like a badge. They go, look how hard I'm working, to show everyone and how serious I can be about life. And the idea that resilience is just toughing it out and pushing yourself is really wrong. I mean, that is an aspect of resilience, is pushing yourself. But if you continually push yourself, you break. So the part that gets left out with regard to resilience is flexibility. So from the law of requisite variety, the part of any system that has the most flexibility ends up in control of the system. That system being a corporation, being a family, being any number of different environments. And so the idea with resilience that it's just about toughing it out is misleading. It's actually about flexibility, being able to sometimes, instead of keep going, to stop and to step back, to see different ways. Instead of being in a state of hypervigilance, which is great in some environments, some of the time, you've got to then recharge and give yourself the opportunity to deeply relax, because then you come back even stronger, even clearer headed, even more creative.
Right. So what you're saying is continuous grind is bad for you.
Yeah.
We need to move into these different states.
This is the metaphor I used earlier of people approaching life like a marathon and just going at it till they burn out is a false economy. The smart thing is to go at it hard and then give yourself recovery time.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know how to do that. Indeed, I was one of those people. I used to work really hard till I burned out, so I thought, oh no, I'll go away on holiday. Then I'd take some books and work papers with me, and I'd still be going at it. In fact, I was still at the office, just in a better location.
You know, what's funny? I was just reading a book by the founder of one of the most successful software companies in America. And what he said is that he experimented with different styles of work, and he would give his team 3-month sprints to get a piece of code out. And what he found is that it was really ineffective. Instead, he would give the team 6 weeks and then a 2-week vacation. So this is really interesting. 6 weeks complete focus, then 2 weeks to relax, and then 6 weeks of focus and 2 weeks to relax. And he said this magnificently increased productivity, and people were so much healthier and happier.
Yes, that makes total sense. And again, goes against the myth that I've just got to keep going as hard as I can and I'll get it done. That's working hard. Working smart is going, hang on, I'm going to have a period of exertion and focus and apply myself. Then I'm going to use the recovery time so I'm actually even more capable.
Now, the third myth is interesting. The third myth is that stress is always bad for you. Apparently, there are situations where stress can actually be good for you. Do explain.
Yes. So when we talk about stress, usually people associate that with burning out. And actually also stress is usually associated with executives, people in high pressure jobs. But in fact, it affects everybody. Study I saw just today, 30% of teenagers are stressed. Exams, the way they're adapting to the world and all the pressures of growing up, social media, all sorts of things like that. I read the other day an interview with Bruce Springsteen, and they said, do you ever get stage fright? And he went, no. He says, I get a bit of a tingling in my stomach and in my fingers, and I get excited and I think about the event. And I thought, yeah, that sounds like positive stress. That seems like excitement. So some stress in terms of I'm getting excited. I'm gonna actually go do something. Now, when it tips over the edge and you become so nervous, you become so tense, you can become so anxious, then it works against you. And that's what a lot of people find is they don't stay in that sweet spot of excited enough to give a good performance or a good meeting or whatever it is, or a good presentation. They actually go to that place where they're so overwhelmed from it. And this is what we need to do to reset it. We need to do the things we're learning in this masterclass shortly.
Amazing. So again, it's more nuanced than stress is bad.
Yes.
Right? It's way more nuanced than that. Okay, so back to you. So the 3 ideas you learn are the following. Reducing stress does not mean reducing your edge. Number 2, continuous grind does not make you more resilient. Rather, you need a balance in your life. And third, not all stress is bad for you. There's a certain type of stress that is good for you. Now, based on everything you've learned, why is it important for you to reduce the stress in your life? Write it down in your journal, because by establishing a clear why, you're more likely to activate your brain to find an answer. I'm going to give you a minute. Okay, welcome back to the masterclass. In a moment, you're going to learn two different techniques. One is called the Havening technique, and the second is a powerful technique called the Genpo Roshi Big Mind Meditation. Now, following this masterclass, many of you are going to be enrolling in Paul McKenna's program on Mindvalley to completely make you immune to stress and make you resilient in life. This program is a game changer, and I know many of you have questions on that, but we will come to that later. For now, we want to give you a powerful experience right now. Paul, let's talk about the first idea, the Havening technique.
Okay, so the Havening technique is one of the new kids on the block in terms of personal development and overcoming trauma. This is used by the military in helping veterans who've been through combat trauma, curing PTSD. It's also used by people, again, who in all different walks of life, who need to reduce their stress, paramedics, policemen, firemen, people like that. And it works incredibly well. And the Havening technique was developed by my friend, Dr. Ronald Rudin. I was part of the original team that helped to develop it. This comes from a family of techniques called psychosensory techniques. Now, people watching may have indeed heard about psychosensory techniques. They involve like tapping on various parts of the body. They often involve eye movements. There's one for eye movement desensitization. Havening is unique, and the scientific studies put it way ahead of the others because it involves the touch of the side of the arms. And if somebody does this, it feels comforting. That's because when you were a baby, your mother held you like this and comforted you. And you are hardwired now, when you do this, to feel good and to produce delta waves. The other place is here, the palms. Some people could do here, but we're going to do here and here. And then lateral eye movements. Eye movements up create alpha. Eye movements across create delta. And a few minutes of this creates a profound neurophysiological change in a person. So somebody can be very stressed. I did this once with somebody who was having a panic attack in an ambulance. Their heart rate was at 170. A few minutes later, it was back at its resting position of 70. And the paramedics couldn't believe it, that somebody can go from such a state of overwhelming anxiety into deep calm. And so I wonder could I demonstrate this with you, Vishen?
Absolutely. And now I'm not going to get into a hypnotic trance in any way, right? You're not going to make me dance like a chicken.
No.
Or dance on the table.
No. Well, when we do this, you'll be completely in control. You will know what you're doing, and you'll be aware of things. But I'm going to ask you to think about a time that something bad happened, something traumatic or very uncomfortable happened, and if you think about it now, it still bothers you. If you're watching at home and you want to do this, if you follow along, follow my instructions precisely, you'll get the same benefit. So what I'm going to ask you to do is think about a time when something bad happened to you, something unpleasant, and even if you think about it now, you go, oh, I feel awful, yeah? And hold on to that for a minute, because very shortly you'll be feeling significantly better. So do you have one? You've called one to mind?
I do.
Now, this is important. We need to grade it on the scale of 1 to 10. 1's the least, 10's the most. And the reason we do this is because we want to see how far it reduces very quickly in a moment. Okay, so Vishen, if I could ask you to put the iPad, that's it, over there, and could you sit forward a little?
All right.
That's great, because I'm going to need to reach over and touch the side of your arms and also the palms of your hands. And what I'd like you to do, if it's okay, just close your eyes for a moment. Okay, so if you're watching at home, what I'd like you to do is to put one hand here, because I'm going to touch the side of Vishen's arms, but I'd like you to do your own, and you'll need to tune into a time that you find very upsetting, that you would like to reduce the stress around. What we're going to do is we're going to de-link the thought from the feeling. This is a deceptively simple process, but with very, very powerful results. So think of that upsetting time rated on a scale of 1 to 10. 1's the least, 10's the most. What's your number? 7, 8, 9, something like that? What is your number, Vishen?
It's about a 7.5.
About a 7.5, okay. And clear your mind and imagine we are walking together on a beach. With each footstep that you take in the sand, count out loud from 1 to 20.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
And with your eyes closed, move them laterally to the left and laterally to the right. Eyes to the left, eyes 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 to the right. If you're watching at home, if you're doing this at home, you're stroking the side of your arms like this. Continue doing it. Just keep doing that whilst we do this process. And then what I'd like you to do, Vishen, is imagine you're walking in a beautiful garden. With each footstep that you take in the grass, count out loud from 1 to 20.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
And move your eyes to the left, eyes to the right. 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 That's it. Laterally to the left, laterally to the right. Laterally to the left, laterally to the right. Eyes to the left, eyes to the right. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're tapping away on your computer. Each time you tap a key on your computer, count out loud from 1 to 20.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
And then eyes to the left, eyes to the right. 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 If you're doing this at home, keep stroking the side of your arms as you move your eyes to the left and your eyes to the right. Eyes to the left, eyes to the right. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're walking down a beautiful staircase. With each step that you take as you walk down the staircase, count out loud from 1 to 20.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
So then eyes to the left, eyes to the right. eyes to the left, eyes to the right, eyes to the left, eyes to the right, eyes to the left, eyes to the right, eyes to the left, eyes to the right. Then take a deep breath and come on back out. So when you think about that thing that was upsetting you, what's the new number now?
Wow, that was weird. because as you started doing that, my brain started going almost into like a restful, sleepy state.
Yes.
Childhood memories popped up.
Yep.
I remember the curtain when I was 6 years old in my parents' room or something. I remember the shape of the grill on the window. Smell of food came up. It was really, really, really interesting. When you said type on the keyboard, all of a sudden I regressed to the 1980s with my uncle on an old Commodore 64 machine, right? Learning how to use a computer for the first time. It was one of the most beautiful, comforting memories of my life. So all of these comforting memories. Now we come to that situation, which was with a certain someone. Towards the end, I went into this dreamlike state and I saw beautiful memories with this person. Beautiful, positive memories and a deep appreciation for this person and that person's appreciation for me. And I can't even remember the stressed out situation. But again, it felt like it was happening automatically in my brain. I wasn't forcing any of these memories.
Yes.
So my point is, if I had to think about that situation again, it feels like the beautiful memory has overwritten it. And I would say it's gone down to maybe a 3 or 2 from a 7.5.
Yeah, and in just a few minutes. So we use this with people who are extremely traumatized and also people who are not massively traumatized but have something in their past that holds them back. It might be a bereavement, it might be the breakup of a relationship, it might be some other thing, it could be but something that's significant.
Wow.
And with most people, most of the time, within a few minutes, they go from it being overwhelming to it being something they can handle. It delinks the thought from the feeling. You can still remember that something bad happened, but you just don't, you're not bothered by it.
But I feel so different right now. Like, did you slip something in my mouth as I did this? And is it normal that I feel like I want to go take a nap, cuddle up against a pillow and eat a grilled cheese sandwich? Is that normal? Because I'm having this weird craving to just walk off set right now.
Well, I think given you're a seasoned meditator, you're very used to going into profoundly relaxed states.
Right.
And this produces a lot of delta, which is the same as we get in deep sleep.
Which is why I was daydreaming.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. You went into a lucid dream, and that's why the childhood memories flooded back. But also, what your brain did that was so brilliant was it recoded. It went, the bad stuff there, but I'll put the good stuff in as well. And I'll see it in a different way, and I won't be able to feel so upset. When this was first demonstrated to me, because Dr. Rudin and I were, we were trying to figure out, why the psychosensory therapies worked and which bits worked and which didn't. And Ronnie is a hard scientist. It means he's not a psychologist. He's thinking about concepts. He's interested in MRI scans, brainwaves, physical things, and he's a neuropharmacologist, right? So what he figured out was the touch of various parts of the body correspond to different brain activity.
Now, how about you guys? As you guys went through that, what did you experience? I'm going to give you a minute to just write it down so you can come back to your notes later on. So let's run that process again for the people in the audience. So tell us what you did.
Okay, so let me walk you through the process. You think of something that upsets you, and you get yourself for a moment in touch with the distress. You put your left hand on your right shoulder, your right hand on your left shoulder, and you start stroking, and then you clear your mind. And then you go into some activity in your mind that you find pleasant. Most people find walking on a beach, walking in nature. It might be playing table tennis. It might be tapping the keys on the computer.
And you make us do that and count to
20, yeah.
So it was walking on a beach, walking in a field,
in
nature, and then typing on a keyboard?
Yeah.
Typing on a keyboard compared to walking on a beach?
Well, yeah, exactly. It could be ping pong, or it could be stroking your pet, you know.
But I guess it depends on what you find relaxing. So it's 3 scenes.
Yeah.
So you're counting from 1 to 20, 3 scenes while doing this.
Yeah.
Right? Now, was that it? Was there something else you were doing?
Well, I touched the palms of your hands. The areas that produce the most delta are here.
Okay.
Here.
So if we were doing this ourselves, are we touching our face?
We can touch our face.
Okay.
We can touch our arms.
So after counting 1 to 20, we do this to our hands.
As you count 1 to 20, you do this. Now, and you see, each person's different. So some people might they might feel more comfortable with that.
Right.
Some people prefer this,
Okay.
and some people prefer this. They sit and do this with their hands. This for me is the best. This feels the most comforting.
I see.
And then you move your eyes left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right.
How many times?
Probably about 20 times.
20 times.
Yeah, and you do it slowly but laterally. So you don't look up.
One. Okay.
You want to go left, right.
I see.
Left.
20 times.
20 times.
So you're stroking your arms.
Yeah.
Walking on the beach, counting from 1 to 20.
Yeah.
Then you move your eyes left to right 20 times.
While you do this.
Okay, then you do this. Oh, so you keep doing this.
Keep doing it.
And then you keep doing this, and I'm walking in nature.
Yep.
Then move my eyes left to right.
Yeah.
Okay, then I keep doing this. I'm typing the keyboard or petting a dog or a cat or doing anything that's pleasant to me.
Yeah.
Moving my eyes again. So that is called the havening technique.
Yes, that's called the havening technique.
The havening technique.
Yeah, that's called the havening technique.
That's amazing, and that was so powerful, and we can use this anytime.
Yes, in fact, it's used by doctors and psychologists all over the world.
Wow.
And it's become really popular in the last few years. But lots of people can benefit from this.
So you just learned a skill you can use on yourself, and you can also use to help other people. Now, I've lost track of time. How long was this technique?
So it's about 10 minutes. And what I say to people is 5 minutes of that every day sets
Relax
your
right
day
now.
up.
Relieving stress does not actually make you lose your edge, right? In fact, I feel so much more comfortable now with the rest of this masterclass and how I'm going to be facilitating this conversation. But that was incredible. Now, some of you may want to own this technique. You may want to be able to apply this technique in your life anytime you want. This and other techniques are part of Paul McKenna's program on Mindvalley, and you'll be able to access that program if you so choose to enroll in it. At the end of this masterclass, you will learn how to get access to it. So just hold on that in a moment. We'll come to that later. Right now, we're going to get on with the next part of this training.
So this next technique is one of my favorites. It was created by my friend Genpo Roshi. He's famous for creating a meditation called Big Mind. Now, Big Mind has an extraordinary effect on people. In fact, there are studies that have been done at Utah University where they have one of these brain image resonancing chambers. It's amazing. And you can't have any metal in it. You go in and something that looks like Darth Vader's hat comes down over your head. And we get a very good idea of what the brain activity is. So the researchers decided to take a seasoned 20-year meditator, put him in the image resonancing chamber, and map his brainwaves. And then they take someone off the street who's never meditated in their life, they don't know anything about it, and Genpo sits there and he does the big mind process on them. And a few minutes later, they've got pretty much identical patterns. Now,
wow.
You could imagine half the Zen world are going, wow, this guy's made a big breakthrough, we love him, he's fantastic. The other half are not happy at all because they've been sitting in the lotus position omming for 20 years, and he's out teaching it to plumbers, accountants, students, and anyone and everyone. So they think it's a heresy, and he's a heretic. So,
but science is showing that both brains are experiencing the same thing.
That's right. And so when I discovered this, I was so blown away. We became friends, and he does what I'm about to do is my interpretation of Big Mind. This is not the same as Genpo does it. He does it in a different way, but I've created a funky NLP hypnosis version of it.
So you combine the Big Mind, which is arguably the most powerful meditation technique in the world,
that's what
with your unique brand of hypnosis and
that's
NLP.
Right, yes. But it's important I let people know, so I think you have to give credit that he's an extraordinary
Absolutely,
person.
and I appreciate that about you, giving credit to Genpo Roshi.
Thank you.
So this is a technique you're going to guide us through right now.
Yes, this is a meditation. It'll take a few minutes, but you will get profoundly relaxed. I'll be talking to you and aspects of you. Look, it's like this. When we go, a part of me wants to go to the cinema, but a part of me wants to stay at home. Now, it's not as though there are two people inside our head, running around. These are ways of describing process and aspects of self. So I'll be talking to aspects of you, such as the controller, the protector, the judge, the desire, or the seeking mind. And these are at the forefront of our experience all day long. And I'll be asking you to drop the sense of self. And as a result, the big mind, the infinite consciousness will come through. This has been described as shaking hands with God. It's like glimpsing momentarily the samadhi, the satori, the enlightenment state of the infinite is. And so it's a beautiful, profound spiritual experience, but on a scientific level, it's incredibly good for your health because it calms your mind and body and makes you feel this inner sense of deep joy.
So amazing.
Yeah.
As if I cannot get even more relaxed right now. So let's get ready to learn the Big Mind technique.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, everyone, to sit comfortably. If it's safe and appropriate to do so, close your eyes and make yourself even more comfortable. Do not watch this while driving or operating machinery. Do it when you can safely relax completely. And I'm going to start by saying, I'd like you to begin to systematically relax yourself. Relax the little muscles at the side of your eyes and muscles around your neck and your tongue relaxing your shoulders, arms, hands and fingers, and comfortably aware of your chest and stomach relaxing down your legs into your feet and down through your arms and hands and fingers, letting that relaxation become even more profound, like a rag doll. There we go. Any tension is an invitation to relax. And my voice will go with you on this wonderfully relaxing experience into deep inner bliss. And you can notice my words. Noticing my words. Noticing your body has relaxed. And your mind has relaxed. That's right. And from this place, I'd like you to imagine how you would relax if you are twice as relaxed as you are right now. And float into that more relaxed you. See through the eyes of your more relaxed self. Hear through the ears of your more relaxed self. And feel this deeper relaxation. From this place, imagine how you would look if you were twice as relaxed. as you are right now. And float into that more relaxed you. See through the eyes of your more relaxed self. Hear through the ears of your more relaxed self. And feel this deeper relaxation. And from this place, I'd like you to imagine if you were even more relaxed than you are right now, how would you look? Float into that more relaxed you. See through the eyes of your more relaxed self. Hear through the ears of your more relaxed self. And feel this deeper relaxation. And I'd like to talk to that part of you we'll refer to as the controller, part of you that likes to keep control. And I want to thank it for doing all the good things that it does for you. And I'd like it to continue to do those things, but from the background of your experience for now. Take a few moments to just go off into the background. And I'd like to talk to that part of you we'll refer to as the protector. Part of you keeps you safe. I'd like you to continue to do all the good things that you do. Protect and keeping safe, but do it from the background of your experience right now. Just move off into the background. And I'd like to talk to that part of you we'll refer to as the evaluator or critic, the part of you that judges, analyzes, critiques. Thank you for doing all the good things that you do. Just move off into the background now, please. I'd like to talk to that part of you that we'll refer to as desire, part of you that gets you things. And I'd like it to continue to do all the good things it does for you, but from the background of your experience, so you can let go of all desire and wanting in this moment. Then I'd like to talk to that part of you we'll refer to as the seeking mind, the mind that seeks the way. And I'd like you to continue to do all the good things that it does for you, from the background of your awareness. All seeking disappears. Then I'd like to talk to non-seeking, contented mind. Right now, there's nowhere else to be, nothing to be done. Everything is as it should be. And now I'd like to talk to big mind. How big are you? How small are you? When are you? Is there anything you're not? And I'd like to talk to big heart, the infinite compassion. And in this expanded state of consciousness, just drop in any problems, challenges, or stresses in your life and allow them to transform. In a moment, it'll be time to return to normal waking consciousness as I count back from 10 to 1. Feeling refreshed, relaxed, and alert with a renewed sense of optimism and deep inner joy. 10, 9, 8, beginning to return now. 7, 6, 5, feeling so good you might want to stretch and yawn as you awaken. 4, 3, 2, 1, wide awake. How do you feel?
Really relaxed. That was a deep meditation.
Did you get a sense of expanded consciousness?
Yeah.
And what else did you notice?
Well, I was going into theta, right, which is the daydream state, because I was getting that relaxed. Theta is the state associated with naps, for example. And so daydreams, memories were coming to me. Beautiful daydreams, but it was just a beautifully relaxed state.
So I try and use this nearly every day if I can, and particularly when I think about things that would worry me. Sure, the worry is saying be prepared, take notice of this, but I notice that when I've done this and put it in context of the infinite, suddenly it doesn't overwhelm me.
Amazing. I feel so relaxed, and every time I'm doing one of these interviews, my mind is racing. I have so many things to assemble, a script to follow, timelines, lights, and cameras to pay attention to. But what's good about what you just did is all of that is still there, but my heart isn't racing.
Yes.
And I'm better able to compose myself and still deliver, but without feeling the usual that I feel whenever I'm on set. So how did it go for you? I actually want you to answer that. How did it go for you? I'm going to give you a few seconds to mentally process what you experienced. How did you feel? What thoughts came to you? Now, you may be noticing that we have switched to slides. The reason is because this portion of this masterclass is being recorded under quarantine. You see, quarantine hit us as we were in the production stage for this program. So fortunately, I was able to be in London with Paul recording the gist of it just before quarantine hit. And now, under quarantine, I'm recording this portion from my home where I'm under lockdown. But it's perfect that the class wasn't ready, because right now, under lockdown, I can share with you what's coming up next, because it is so relevant to what we're all experiencing, billions of us across the planet right now, as our whole way of life has been disrupted. So far, this is what we've covered: the 3 myths of stress. You learn the common myths about stress, about anxiety, about fear. We then showed you how to perform the Havening technique and how to perform the big mind technique. And I bet you that you see how simple these techniques are, and you recognize that these can be done in 5 minutes a day. This tool, once you learn these tools, you can apply them in your life easily within moments to change your state of being. And you also probably understand why controlling stress is so important. Stress is a sign from your body that you're literally killing yourself, and it is not an optimal state to be in. Now, given the limited time frame we had with Paul, that was what we could cover. But I want you to know that the art of truly being able to manage your emotional states, to be in perpetual states of bliss, these are things that for the longest time, you would think that you'd have to be training to meditate in an ashram for 20 years to get there. But what you will see is that with the right techniques, with the right hypnotherapy, you can achieve these almost Zen-like states of bliss, of beingness in the world. extremely easily. I want to share with you some of the more advanced topics and techniques in Paul's repertoire. A lot of these, almost all of these that I'm going to show you are in Paul's program in Mindvalley, Everyday Bliss. Let me show you just what is possible when you go deep into these ideas. The first is, and this is a screen for one of the lessons. This is where Paul combines EFT, or emotional freedom technique, sometimes called tapping, with hypnotherapy. These are immediate, fast things you can do. It literally involves tapping on certain meridian points in your body that immediately change your state. The results of these are astounding. There are other techniques you learn, such as how to anchor yourself, so you instantly go into a situation of bliss when the entire world seems to be going crazy around you. Third, you learn how to access peaceful states of mind where you can solve problems with ease. Imagine being in a meeting and all of a sudden a situation emerges and your company has to react and everyone is panicking, everyone is stressed out, and you can tap into a particular zone of beingness where insights, ideas come to you effortlessly. You learn how to completely eliminate worry. This technique is called a worry buster. If you're the type that worries, this technique is something you have to bring into your life. You learn how to bring in internal imagery and disassociation. What this means is that you learn how to use mental pictures to disassociate yourself from perhaps a bad past memory that might still be affecting you in some way. You learn how to rewire unpleasant memories. All of us have memories from the past that stick with us because of their unpleasantness, because of past trauma. What if you could erase trauma? How would you then show up in the world? For example, someone who was brutally dumped and treated in a bad way in a relationship might carry some of that trauma forward and be apprehensive the next time they fall in love. What if you could rewire that, remove that memory, so you're more loving, you're more free, you're more positive in your life? Imagine what you can do if you can erase your past trauma. Next, bliss on demand. Imagine being able to create instances of happiness, bliss, almost as if you're snapping your finger. Imagine being able to create instant motivation. I know so many people under lockdown, under quarantine, are feeling a sense of procrastination, of not knowing what to do, of helplessness because your whole schedule has changed. And there's this fear of what's happening in the world. But what if you could instantly motivate yourself to take action, to move, to have a future vision and to move towards that vision? Imagine being able to have techniques at your disposal where you can instantly shift your focus from anything negative to things which feel good, so that you can bring yourself back to states of bliss, gratitude, and other positive emotions. So let's go further. Think about your life. What has distress thoughts cost you? I can remember moments in my life where I broke down and I made bad decisions. I once gave up a large chunk of my company because I was manipulated. I was going through a very stressful period. And my co-founder of this company at that time, who was in a way not the fairest person, manipulated me while I was weak and stressed out into signing away millions of dollars of shares of that company. I can tell you, I've made so many mistakes relationship-wise because I was not in the right state. I've made bad business decisions while under stress. Stress makes you stupider. These negative feelings, they hold you back from your true abilities to show up in the world. So you have a choice right now. Do you want to take what you learned and remember it and bring it up if and when you need it? Or do you want to go further? What if you could instantly elevate your performance in all areas of life? What if you could develop the calmness, the presence of the great leaders that you see or that you've read about? Think about the people whom you truly admire. Oprah, Lincoln, people that you know show up in the world in a different way. People follow them, they are blissful, they are calm, they make the right decisions. And they seem to have it all put together. What if you could be one of those people in 3 weeks using some of the power of hypnotherapy? So I want you to ask yourself this question. How important is it for you to be completely stress-free, even in the craziest circumstances, to be perpetually calm and centered? How important is it for you to be able to access blissful states of being? How important is it for you to be able to calmly solve problems without stress? How important is it for you to stop worrying for good? How important is it for you to be able to use imagery techniques and disassociation to remove bad memories and trauma that might be affecting you till today? How important is it for you to be able to command bliss, to instantly bring into your life beautiful, positive feelings and emotions? How important is it for you to instantly get motivated or focused? Now, if any of these are important for you, I want to introduce you to our new program with Paul McKenna. Because in 3 weeks, using the power of Paul's hypnotherapy, you can become a completely different person. I'm going through this program right now, and I can tell you that it has completely changed the way I show up in life. It's a 21-day program. Paul is your coach for 20 to 30 minutes every single day for 21 days. But at the end of this program, you are permanently shifted. Stress, anxiety, fear, all negative emotions no longer touch you. You become unstoppable and resilient in all areas of your life, your love life, your career, your abilities as an entrepreneur, as a parent. The program is called Everyday Bliss because that's essentially what it's about. This is not just about avoiding stress. This is about being blissed out every single day for the rest of your life. And it's using hypnosis to give you instant freedom from stress, anxiety, but to turn you into the best version of yourself possible. And I want to give you an idea of what you're going to learn. Now, there are 8 things that this program covers. I want to give you an idea so you can decide if this is how you want to live life and show up in life. The first is you become resilient to stress and all negative effects of stress. Now, what this means is that you're a star at work. When stress is no longer plaguing you, you're able to just do more, achieve more with a calm and focused mind. Imagine what this will do for your career. Now, we get so many letters on this one. Carol George is a spiritual and self-development teacher, and this just helped her expand her workshops to an even bigger size. This wonderful woman, Brendan Ashton, what happened was she was bringing up her son, she was studying during the evening and starting a business. And she said her whole approach to life has completely transformed. She would worry about everything. And now she's more confident than ever running her business. Now, the second thing that happens is you rise above fears and anxieties. Things that once made you fearful no longer influence you. Anxiety starts disappearing. As a result, you're growing and evolving like never before because you're no longer held back by fears, by anxiety. You're free to explore and experience things you once resisted. Again, we get so many letters from this. Kath Ryan says Paul's hypnosis has given her newfound peace of mind, the ability to enjoy every day. This young lady, so her anxiety was so bad, she had to be driven to and from work. She was too nervous to drive, too afraid to leave the office. Her social life was non-existent. Paul's hypnosis helped her. Now, the third thing that this does is you develop a mindset of hope and positivity. So picture this. You're immune to stress. Fears and anxieties are developing. But Paul now fuels you with a sense of hope, of positivity. This changes your belief system. It changes your mental model of what is possible. You're smiling, you're radiant, you're feeling truly alive. And think about what that does to the people around you. So many people write to us about how this program makes them more confident. It makes them happier. And I was wondering, why so many people saying confidence? Because Paul doesn't specifically talk about confidence, but I realized that when you have hope, when you have more positivity, you're more confident about your future, which makes you show up in the world with more confidence in yourself. Now, the fourth thing is you sleep better. This is an obvious one. When stress disappears, sleep problems often disappear too. Now, when you sleep better, you start to look and feel better. Your emotional states are better. You have boundless energy and enthusiasm. So many folks write to us about how this program and Paul's work has helped them shift their sleep and sleep so much better. Now, the fifth thing is your health and immunity starts going up, and that is so important right now. When you reduce stress, immunity goes up. You have greater resistance to illness. And what you often see is it's not just better immunity, which is important in today's world, but other aspects of your health improve. Crystal Allen wrote to us. She said this time last year she was pre-diabetic, had high blood pressure, high triglycerides. Today, 100% perfect health. All her blood results are normal. And she thanks Paul. She says, I feel amazing. Number 6, you overcome depression and sadness. Now, we don't blame you if you have depression and sadness. It's tough in our world today with quarantines and lockdowns and uncertainty, but you can rise above that. With the hypnosis in this program, you're able to become happier, more present in every moment. And that's a gift to you, but to everyone who comes in contact with you. Now, so many people write to us about how their whole life has gotten better, such as Jane Cornwell here, who's a Zumba instructor. This man wrote about how, he says, how can I thank a man? He's referring to Paul McKenna for giving me all the things in life I now have, which I once thought were impossible. Now, number 7, you develop unbreakable grit. This means you're more resilient. No matter what is coming at you, you are resilient. And this means that even in the face of uncertainty, you're peaceful, you're calm, and you're able to deal with the situations. You're able to convert problems into solutions. Ross Smith, who's a paramedic. Okay, now think about paramedics today. They're at the front line of this battle with COVID-19. And Ross said this. He said Paul gave him the tools to maintain his mental strength and make a difference every day. He says, I owe Paul my life, as without his guidance, I would not be here to do the amazing job I do. So imagine the type of grit that someone like Ross Smith needs to develop. And he thanks Paul. Now, number 8, you develop resilience to overwhelm. In a world where so many things are happening, you have to take care of your kids at home because schools have shut down, or you might be working from home, you might have communication issues, you might be feeling loneliness. You're able to deal with that overwhelm and get more done than ever before. So you are productive and your career is safe. If you're starting a business, it's going well. We got this letter from John Mayer, who's a retired police officer who has a business basically coaching police officers. He says he's brought in Paul's tools and he's managed through the bad times and enjoyed the good times with positivity through Paul's coaching. Now, all of this is now available to you on Everyday Bliss, new on the Mindvalley Quest platform. So, Paul, I'm going to put up the agenda for the 21 days. Let's start with week 1. Give us an idea of an overview of what you'll be talking about in the first week.
So week 1 is about reactivating your body's natural stress reduction system. So we all have the ability to get excited and to get tense, but we also have the ability to relax profoundly as well. So the objective in week 1 is to show you instant interventions that you can do, techniques, things like havening, tapping, and other such things, systematic relaxation, so that when you find yourself overwhelmed, you can do something that takes you into a profoundly relaxed state. Or if you've just been through a period of extreme tension, you can then build in some recovery time and instantly take yourself into a great place. So that's what we're doing, is we're setting it up so that you know how to get very relaxed very quickly.
And from what I understand is when you do these techniques, it's not just causing a relaxation response that day. These stay with you. Yes. So over time, you become immune to these same stressful situations.
And indeed, and also, I have recorded a special 25-minute hypnotic trance. And this is something I've worked on for quite a bit of time. And it puts suggestions into the right and left brains. So the whole brain is listening. It's profoundly relaxing. If you listen to this every day for the 21 days, you're going to be different.
Now, each of these lessons is only 12 minutes. We want to respect your time and give you powerful wisdom and awakenings in 12 minutes. But in addition to that, every single day, you're going to have a guided session from Paul that's slowly going to build up your immunity to stress. You can listen to that immediately following the 12-minute lesson, or you can listen to that at night before going to bed.
Yes, absolutely. Correct? Yes, the idea is that if you do anything for a few days, you're going to be different. Particularly if you do a hypnotic trance every day for a few days, there's no way you're going to be able to get so stressed. When I'm doing hypnosis seminars and I'm teaching people hypnosis, they're for an entire weekend going in and out of a trance, in and out of a trance. they actually look younger. People tell us that they say, I went home and my other half said, what's happened to you? You look so chilled. You look so good. You're glowing. And so the idea is that not just that people use this as a remedial approach to reduce stress, that they're actually opening up to feeling healthier, having more energy, more vitality, and feeling happier for no other reason than we've programmed their unconscious mind to do so. Happiness is a neurochemical event, and I'll be instructing the unconscious mind to make you feel good. It's impossible to get a personal session with me these days because I'm so busy doing these other things. Right. And I decided I wanted to get my techniques, my way I perform hypnosis out to as many people as possible. So the closest thing to a personal session with me is this quest.
Amazing. And that's only week 1. Then we go to week 2. So week 2 is about reinterpreting the causes of your stress. Tell us about what's going to be covered there.
So the father of modern stress research, Dr. Hans Selye, said, it's not so much what happens to us, but the way we perceive it, right? So some people can have all kinds of things, incoming, and they're able to handle it. Other people get freaked out by it. What we do in this week is we learn a number of techniques that help to change our perceptual filters so that whatever comes in, instead of feeling like we're under attack or that we're seeing threats everywhere, we're catastrophizing about everything, what happens is instead of that, we see them as challenges. We see them as opportunities. Right. So a lot of people have got into the habit of seeing the world against them, literally being beaten up by it. And they catastrophize too quickly. Mark Twain famously said, I've been through some terrible experiences in my life, and some of them actually happened. So we're training the brain to filter in a different way and also to be able to problem solve. Amazing. When you're in that creative state, you're in that optimal, we call it relaxed alertness. Musicians call it being in the groove. Athletes call it being in the zone. Psychologists call it being in flow.
You're actually improving your productivity because your brain is more creative. You're in those beautiful flow states. Yeah. Now, what happens on integration and review day, which is on day 7 and day 14?
So I do a recap of all the different techniques. I'll say this week we learned this, this, and this, and it's a summary. And I'll ask people to go back if they've missed any techniques. They go back and actually then review it and do it. Or if they've got a favorite one, one that they found their most profound shift happens, they go back and do that. And so it gives them a chance to look back upon the week and to begin to incorporate it into their life.
Now, these are 12 minutes a day. Yeah. Can you listen to these during your commute? If you're in the subway or if you're on a bus?
That's a great place to. I mean, a lot of people these days listen to some sort of program whilst they're... You wouldn't be able to listen to it whilst driving because it often involves deep relaxation.
Right. But as long as you're in an Uber or in a subway.
Yeah, something like that. You could absolutely do
Perfect. That's good. Now we go on to week 3, which is about integrating this learning into a healthy lifestyle. This is where all your health markers start going up. Tell us about week 3.
So week 3, because now you're really getting the hang of relaxing deeply, of seeing where the stress is, being able to handle it. It's about integrating it into your everyday life. So it becomes natural for you when, problem comes in, you just go into that mode where you can solve it. Or you go, hey, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, I'm going to calm myself down now. So it really puts you in control. You are the major shareholder in your own mind. And so I mentioned that whilst this can be a remedial process in terms of, curing something that's affecting your life negatively, yes, it's also a human development program. In as much as, you wake up feeling so good, so optimized, you're thinking, what am I going to do today? How much pleasure can I stand? I want this to be one of the greatest days of my life. So you're thinking in an entirely different way than you used to. Rather than surviving it and reacting, you choose to respond and engage with the world, because when you change, the world changes.
Right. And the best part is, after you finish these 3 weeks, all of these techniques, all of this content is available for you for life. You have this with you. You can review it. You can go back through it. All the meditations are laid out so you can bring them up on your iPhone or Android device and play them and go through them anytime you want. So let me now tell you how to enroll in this program. Firstly, all you need to do is scroll down below and all the information is there for you. I want to give you a sense of the pricing for this program. Now, when it comes to investing in this program, I want you to remember this. You are investing in your state of bliss. This is why we call the program Everyday Bliss. What could be better value for money than investing in your bliss, not in objects that attempt to give you happiness, but investing directly in your bliss as an emotional state, as a perpetual feeling in your life. Now, if you were to go through private coaching with someone of Paul's status, you'd be spending close to $10,000. Paul only coaches the world's best. I have had Paul help me out with some problems I've experienced in life, and I can tell you that in 1 hour he has changed my life, and I would have paid 10 grand for it. Now, 10 grand is well out there. There are other scenarios that you can do if you have issues with anxieties, with fears. You could hire a therapist or a coach. Now, I've done this in the past. I paid roughly $300 an hour, and you had to start with 10 sessions. So you're looking at around $3,000. More recently, around 2016, when I was going through a stressful period of my life, I got a home neuro training device. Now, this is something where you pay to rent the device. It's $1,500. You hook it up to your brain. It's messy. It's sticky. You're basically sticking electrodes to your head. And there is a trainer on the other side of the computer guiding you to change the way your brain works. I stopped doing it because not only was it quite expensive, but it was boring, agonizingly boring. Now, what you will find is that what you experience here through Paul's hypnotherapy is a far better solution, and it is significantly more affordable. And as a thank you for watching this masterclass, if you scroll down below, you'll be able to see your special unlock price. Don't close this page. There's a special pricing on this page just for you. Now, I want to give you an idea of what happens when you get this program, because in addition to the special unlock price, as a thank you for watching this masterclass, we are also going to be unlocking several unique bonuses. So in addition to this program being on Mindvalley's beautiful platform, and let me give you a quick tour of what you're getting, right? So I'm going to click play, and I'm going to show you a screenshot of what's happening on my screen. What you will see is that the program looks and feels wonderful. Everything is laid out for you. You can choose what class date you want to start. So I'm part of a group right now that is going through the program as an early user. Before the class starts, you can access warm-up videos that help prepare you. You see the word missed that tells you when you missed a lesson. I'm testing it out right now. That's why missed is activated for everything. But let's click on a sample lesson. Okay, this is a beautiful lesson, day 12, internal imagery and disassociation. Again, you'll see such beautiful filmmaking. You can access the video through chapters. There's a beautiful task completed section, which you can check off when you complete the task or the homework Paul gives you. Now, all of this is maybe 10 to 20 minutes a day. And one of the best things about this program is it comes with hypnotic trance audios. These are audios that shift you at a subconscious level. And remember the havening technique? It's there for you too. So this program is put together beautifully. We are really proud of the production quality, and I know you're going to love it. And as a special bonus, check out the resources section. PDFs, hypnotic trance audio, and other bonuses are being released for you here. All of this is available on Apple TV, your desktop, or your smartphone. Now, let me give you a little bit more of an idea of what else you can expect. So these are some stories that we got. Now check this out. This is from John Hilado in the Philippines. And he said what blew his mind was the hypnotic trance audio track. You're not just getting lectures. The tracks over here shift you at a subconscious level. You automatically take on new behaviors, new beliefs, all at the click of the button. And this is another letter we got from Cynthia Sharp. Now, she is a spa and wellness coach, so she is used to the best standards in wellness. And notice what she said about the quality of the programming, the layers of sounds, vibrations, tones in his voice, guided visualizations, makes his session 10 times more visceral. She loves how his voice and tone fluctuate all through the sessions. You are going to love these meditations. Now, in addition to this, you are also going to have access to a beautiful community where all the students who enroll together, and we're expecting well over 1,000 students, you're going to be able, if you so choose, to connect with other students, post questions, post ideas, and there'll be facilitators there to support you as well. This is really a unique part of the Mindvalley system, and people love it right now because so many of us are stuck at home during quarantine and could use a little social interaction. And in addition to all of this, expect some beautiful bonuses when you order today. Now, these are not bonuses which are going to be there forever. They're only going to be there during the time when we are introducing this product to the world, or what we call the product release or launch period. Bonus number 1 is the hypnotic trance. This is a 25-minute deep relaxation experience that is going to blow you away. And there's a second bonus. Just for those of you who are enrolling now, you get to access live calls with Paul McKenna. And these are happening June 7, 14, 21. And I know you are going to love them. This is only for those of you who are enrolling now. As we promise, the Havening technique, the Big Mind technique, they're going to be made available for you too. So you can go back to these exercises anytime you want. And remember, this is only for this broadcast. If you enroll next week, these bonuses are not there anymore because we give these as a reward to our early adopters, to the first batch of users, because we know you're coming in early. You're coming in as part of our first group of students, and we value you and we value your trust. Now, I want you to know that when you scroll down below, you'll see a box like this. This box protects you. It means that you can try this program out for the number of days specified, completely risk-free. Now, look, if you are buying a house, you would obviously go and check out the house. You'd want to go inside the house. So I'm not asking you to make up your mind right now. I'm simply saying go inside the program, try it out, and see if this is for you. And if it isn't, you give yourself a refund. You simply go to this little website, mindvalley.com/refund, and issue yourself a refund. It's automatic. You don't have to deal with phone calls. There is no wait time. Click a button and automatically your refund is issued. So you can make an informed decision. I'm not asking you to make up your mind. I'm simply asking you to make an informed decision. Enroll in the program right now, get all the bonuses, get the special pricing, go into the program, and anytime during the trial period, you can go to mindvalley.com/refund, super easy to remember, and give yourself a refund. So I cannot wait to see you in the program. Now, also, when you click enroll, you're going to get access to this beautiful page. I'm going to give you a quick tour of what you will see. A beautiful page. It's called our welcome guide, and it'll explain exactly how to log in. It'll explain how to choose your start date, how to set your 20 minutes a day to go through the program, how the entire platform works. It's all beautifully laid out for you, and everything is there, including FAQs and how to claim a refund. Now, here's what I want you to do next. Scroll down below. You will see the guarantee. You will see the bonuses. You will see the available perks, for example, lifetime access, free upgrades, and then you will see the order button. You can join the program, or you also have the option to choose all access. All access means you don't just get Paul McKenna's program. All Mindvalley Quest programs are now available to you. All access is beautiful. For a low annual fee, you get $12,000 worth of programs unlocked for you. So you don't just have to go through McKenna's program, you have access to everything. Now, after McKenna's program, there are so many other remarkable programs that can get you to the next level, whether you're looking for health or an incredible love life, or you're looking to improve your spiritual abilities, or your fitness, or your performance at work. So All Access is getting really popular, and more of our customers are choosing All Access, because what you'll find is that you won't stop at one Mindvalley program. You will be so blown away by the changes in your life, by the new you that's emerging. You will want to come back to our platform over and over and over again. And All Access is simply the best value money can buy in education. I believe that, and so do hundreds of businesses around the world that are enrolling their employees in All Access. Speaking of which, we also have a business and startup solution. Now, if you think that this program is great and you'd like to take your entire team through it, just email us at betterteams@mindvalley.com and we'll get back to you with more information. I cannot wait to see you in everyday bliss. So I want to encourage you all to scroll down below and enroll. Now, there might be a couple of questions that some of you might have, and Paul, let's address some of those questions. So these are some of the most common questions. The first one is, there are so many tools available for free. Why would I need to enroll in a program such as this?
Well, you have to ask yourself, why are they for free? they are, yes, there's lots of different things on the internet for free.
I'm sure you'll find audios and stuff on YouTube, right?
Yes, but this is a special program that's been created. Everyone's got 12 minutes a day to just do a quick process and learn something that's going to make their life better. Plus, you get the hypnotic audio trance, which is 25 minutes of deep relaxation and mind programming to help you have a better life. So what you're getting is something that's premium. This is not just any old trance.
Yeah,
this is a special program.
I mean, if you're really broke, go find something on YouTube. Yeah. But if you have a career, if you have a job, right, that matters to you, you want to invest in this because this is going to boost your career and you will probably make your money back tenfold in the first week or so just from increased productivity. Now, one more thing, for those of you who are new to the way a Mindvalley quest works, quests are typically like classrooms. We have thousands of students joined together, so you are not doing this by yourself. You can if you want to, but thousands of people go on day 1 together and day 2 together, and they go through this entire 21-day experience as a group. They cross the finishing line together. You're all connected in an online community. There are facilitators there, so there are people you can ask questions to and fellow students ready to support you. And the Mindvalley community is so supportive and so amazing. So you actually go through this in the group. There's live interaction with people, and that's one of the reasons why when we say a 21-day program, it's designed as so because people actually complete it. This isn't something you buy and it sits on your shelf. It's an experience that you're going to go through. And at the end of 21 days, you come out transformed. This is as powerful as signing up for a full multi-day seminar or transformative experience. You are going to come out transformed after 21 days in just a few minutes every day. Let's go on to question number 2. I've tried hypnosis before, says this person asking the question. How do I know this is different?
I just like there's a Prius and there's a Rolls Royce. I try my hardest to be the best at whatever it is I do. And so I would say that if you compare the standard of the psychological change work that I'm offering here, I think it's of the highest. If there's somebody who can do something better than me, it frustrates me, it drives me mad, and I have to track them down and learn from them so I can then do it even better.
Right.
You know, look, there are lots of cars in the world. Some are Ford Pintos, and then there's the Ferrari. I mean, which one would you rather have?
Exactly. And I get what you're saying there. Just because you've been in a Ford Pinto, if someone invites you to try a Ferrari, you can't say, oh, I'm not going to. I've been in a car before. It's a totally different kind of car. Now, number 3, what do you say to people who say they don't have enough time?
Well, again, this is the mindset of people who are super stressed because they're trying to control everything and they're working so hard. I haven't got time to relax and actually replenish myself so I'm even more productive. And they're headed for burnout, right? So it's a false economy. And if you haven't got 12 minutes a day to make sure your day is even better, to put yourself in an optimal state of peak performance in the zone, then you're kind of kidding yourself, really.
Now, the next question is, what if it doesn't work? Well, I think this one is really easy. Try it out for 3 days. If you don't see remarkable results, get a full refund. And you would have only lost 12, 24, 36 minutes of your time. 36 minutes. That's it. Right?
You know, I say to people, try and prove me wrong. You know, if your life isn't that great and I can't make it better in a few days through these techniques which are scientifically proven to do so, maybe you will be the exception. Try and prove me wrong. I often say it to people and they come back and they say, you know, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I was benevolently skeptical. Amazing.
And now the next question is, how is this different from other products out there?
Well, this is different from other products in that, firstly, I've created a unique system. So this isn't just a list of techniques, it's an integrated system. Sure, there are books that I've written on this subject or other subjects, but the beauty of this is in the digital age we live in now is you can have me on your smartphone, you can have me on your desktop, and as soon as you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, hit a button, I'll pop out and do something to put you in a better state of mind, to help you solve problems, to help you feel good.
I love how you say pop out, as if you're like a genie and someone is rubbing a lamp and you're Will Smith in Aladdin. Or rather, they'll hear your voice and be guided into this beautiful, amazing state.
Do you know, somebody told me the other day, they said they'd been using the stress trance that I made, and they said they were driving something, they got lost, and they started panicking, and they suddenly heard my voice in their head go, and you can trust yourself, and all is well. And they went, yeah. And then they found the way and they were fine.
So thank you for joining us. And thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Vishen. It's been a real pleasure. I've been a Mindvalley fan for a long time, so it's wonderful to be here.
and it's amazing to have you on set, and I still feel so relaxed. I can't believe this. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you in this program.